out Girl Crush Country, where we are obsessed with women making country music. I'm Jess Wright in Nashville, Tennessee, and this week our guest is a rising country singer who has already made some big noise in her home state of Arkansas and is starting to spread the love to the rest of us. Abbey Pierce, welcome.
Hey there.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, I don't know you yet. I've never met you, but I know that you are a dog person, so we're going to be best friends.
I am. That's my one and only baby right there.
Yep, I understand. Also, we know some of the same people, or at least one of the same person. Hot Mess Jess.
Yeah, from Kissin' 96 in Little Rock.
That's the one, my radio friend. I was asking her about you. She said, she's wonderful. She's amazing. She's an Arkansas gem.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm flattered. I could say the same about her.
She is a gem for sure. She's one of my favorite humans in radio.
Awesome.
So big news for you that you were nominated for the second year in a row for the Arkansas Country Music Awards. Okay, female vocalist nominee.
Oh my gosh. It gives me chills just to hear you say that. And all I can say is that I hope I'm never too cool to feel so excited. You know, like it still just is such an honor to receive that kind of recognition. I'm still kind of blown away.
And album of the year for Don't Call Me Darlin'?
An album of the year. It's crazy. It doesn't even feel real, honestly.
So let me make sure that I understand this whole timeline, because it seems very fast. So 2024, first year you put out music.
Right.
Okay. You drop your first EP, Soul Searching 2025. You immediately get nominated for Female Vocalist and Song of the Year at the 2025 Arkansas Country Music Awards. Exactly a year later, you put out your debut album, and boom, 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 Female Vocalist and Album of the Year nods. Girl, what?
I could say the same, honestly. It's been so fast and furious the last couple of years, but such a long time coming. I mean, 2 years ago was the first time I started putting out music, but I've been at this for quite a while. So to believe that like my songs are being received in that way, there's just no words for it, honestly.
So what were you doing prior to releasing music in 2024?
So I had just been really trying to find my voice as a songwriter. I primarily just been doing cover shows for really the first half of my musical career. And when COVID hit, all the live shows stopped. I really didn't have that big of a network built yet around myself. So I just took my guitar and started seeing what else I could do with that thing and started writing songs. And so it really took me a little bit to get a collection that I felt belonged together on a record or on a project. So, my first project was a 4-song EP, and that kind of established who I wanted to be as an artist.
So you've been taking your time, you've been building that fan base, which by the way, paid off, because I saw that your album release party sold out. And right around the holidays, I was so scared. I was like, okay, I know I want to kick off the year with my album release. That timing was really intentional. But then once I started planning the album release, I was like, man, nobody's going to pay for tickets right after the holidays. Like I might have messed up, and it sold out like a solid 2 weeks before the show. And just seeing everybody come together and already singing the words to the songs back to me that had only been out in the world for like 2 weeks was unbelievable. So how big a celebrity are you in your hometown?
Not at all. I mean, I can still go to Walmart and nobody knows who I am. So that's good. I hope that stays for a little bit longer.
And that's saying something, because you're in the home of Walmart, right? Or in that area?
That's so funny. Yeah, I am. Yep. Northwest Arkansas.
Yep. Who are you told that your voice sounds like? I mean, you obviously have your own unique sound, but who are you compared to the most?
I'm compared to Miranda quite a bit. I think the grittiness in our voice is kind of similar, and the types of songs that we write too.
Did you listen to her a lot growing up?
I did, yeah. So some of my performances, like back in the early days, were
like entertainment at pageants and things. Like while the judges would tally the score, I'd come out and be the entertainment. And The House That Built Me was one of the first songs I was singing on a stage. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Who else were you listening to?
Well, my girl is Shania Twain. She really is just who I gravitated towards. I think just because of how bold of a performer she was. I really just loved everything that she did and just the style of her music. Like, it's undeniable that when a Shania song comes on, you want to stand up and sing it at the top of your lungs. So that drew me in real early.
Now, I have to mention your fellow Arkansas. How do you say it? Arkansasian?
Fellow Arkansan.
Arkansan. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny story. This has nothing to do with anything, but I did radio in Wichita, Kansas years and years and years ago. And for people who don't know, the Arkansas River goes through Wichita, but in Kansas, you're not allowed to call it the Arkansas River. In Kansas, it's the Arkansas River.
Arkansas.
Because they are not Arkansas.
You know what? I think if I'm remembering this correctly, so I come from a musical family, and I'm pretty sure at one point in time they had a band and it was called R, like the letter R dash Kansas for Arkansas, but Arkansas.
That's awesome. Well, I was starting to say your fellow Arkansan, Ashley McBride. I always wonder if musicians who come from the same, like I know she's from a different part of the state than you, but if you guys know each other, if you've performed, if you've met, if, you know, and also I just have to mention her in every episode until she agrees to be my best friend.
Oh my gosh, same. Well, I have never had the pleasure of meeting her, but she's definitely high on my heroes list. And same with Mae Estes. She is doing amazing things in country music right now. And I would say if anybody, she has been the one who has like reacted to some of my videos. Like I've covered her songs. We've had just a few back and forths on like Instagram DMs. So if anybody has acknowledged me from Arkansas, it's her.
What did that feel like the first time it happened?
Oh, I keep saying like, I can't believe it, you know, because like I'm at the point where I feel like all these great things and these doors are happening and stars are aligning. And I'm just trying to like soak in those moments. But yeah, I covered her song. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking now because I've covered a bunch of them. Getting back up to heaven when I drop him off in hell. What is that one called? Lord, forgive me for...
Oh, now you've made me blank on it.
It ain't Christian. Okay, well, that one. And she reposted the cover of that. And then, you know, I think I might have posted another video or commented or something, and she followed me back. So we're mutuals on TikTok. Getting back up to heaven. That's what it is.
I saw it just as, getting back up to heaven.
So that was pretty cool. And I've put it out into the universe that I would love to collaborate with her. So maybe someday we'll get to rock together.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
We're here for that. So the new album, Don't Call Me Darlin. I'm sorry, the album of the year nominated new album, Don't Call Me Darlin.
You don't have to say that.
I think I do every time. It's almost like I'm talking to royalty now, right? Arkansas royalty. The album of the year nominated, Don't Call Me Darlin, came out at the beginning of this year. It's pretty rockin' for the most part.
It really is, yeah.
Did you write everything on it?
I wrote 7 of the 8 tracks. So there are 7 songs released digitally right now. And I did a vinyl for my debut album, and there's a bonus track on the vinyl. But yeah, all 7 of the 8 I've written, and then one of them was an outside cut, and it was written by a fellow Arkansan named Kenny Drain. And oddly enough, he also put out an album last year, and it's nominated at the Arkansas CMAs as well.
Okay, a little competition.
Yeah, but friendly, of course.
Of course. Yeah. We've all been through the scenario in the title track, Don't Call Me Darlin. But was it inspired by a specific situation?
Yeah, I definitely, I can't like pinpoint it because I feel like I've been in that scenario a handful of times.
Multiple times.
Yeah. But the idea came to be, so I have a couple of buddies, Eric Spahn and Josh Noren. And that's kind of my camp here in Northwest Arkansas that I collaborate with the most frequently. But my buddy Eric had an idea for the right, and he was like, let's do You Never Even Call Me By My Name by David Allan Coe, but from a female perspective. And I was like, well, that song is really about, just he's really wanting her love and attention. But what if the girl doesn't want anything to do with him and he's just coming on too strong, And so we tried to paint the picture of a girl that's just like, get away from me. And so it turned into just kind of a power female ballad.
The theme song for every woman in every bar in America.
Yeah. Yes.
I love the line, don't call me darling or I'll bust more than your balls.
Yep. If Lainey Wilson can say it, I followed her lead on that one.
That's right. It's funny because as I was prepping to talk with you, I saw a video and the title said, Abbey Pierce covers Crazy. And I was like, oh, Patsy Cline. And then I clicked on it and was like, oh, Gnarls Barkley, which I also love. But it's just a testament to your influence by more than just country music.
Absolutely. Yeah. We were talking about some of the earlier days, me performing, and actually the first song I ever sang on stage was Respect by Aretha Franklin.
Nice.
She was another just female powerhouse that I was drawn to at a very early age. But yeah, my influences are all over the place. I was asked like who are 3 artists I would compare myself to. And I really think I'm somewhere in the middle of Shania Twain, Adele, and Stevie Nicks. Like, cause I love those pop elements. I love those rock elements. So yeah, I'm influenced by a lot of different, a lot of women. Yeah.
That's a good mix to be influenced by, honestly.
I think so.
What has surprised you about the whole process, building your fan base and writing music and making an album and trying to get radio airplay and all of it? What has surprised you about that process?
What a grind it is. You will see independent artists like me posting content about, how hard they work. And I knew that was coming, but my goodness, it never stops. There's always something to be done. And so when I get opportunities like this to talk to somebody that's interested in my music, it's so gratifying. And I'm really honored to have the opportunities and have my hard work pay off.
Well, one of the reasons that Girl Crush Country exists is because of the imbalance that seems to happen with music made by women. Is that an obstacle that you feel like you have had to deal with at all?
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so yet. But you're so right. There is such an imbalance in the industry right now. And speaking of just timely things happening, I don't know if you've been following Ella Langley, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And she just landed in the #1 spot on the Billboard chart. And just to hear her say the stat of less than 10 women in country music have ever achieved that blows my mind.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a testament in and of itself.
Absolutely. And it seems like you would think that as women keep knocking these down, as Lainey Wilson keeps winning Entertainer of the Year, as Ella keeps topping charts and Lainey keeps topping charts, that there would be a bigger response.
Absolutely.
By playlisters and radio to say, oh, maybe women are not going to chase away our listeners.
Yeah. I started following a page recently. I think they're called Book More Women or something like that on Instagram. And they do this thing where they'll take a festival announcement poster and they'll take away all of like the male artists or groups, and the women that are there remaining. I mean, they aren't even a fraction of that entire lineup. And it really is just crazy. Any festival that I've been to, the women shows are always packed. So you wonder why they don't get their moment. I really hope that's changing though.
Well, let's hope that we are doing our part to help fix that.
I think we are. We just got to have more buy-in, you know?
That's right. That's right. Okay, so when you're about to perform, on a scale of it ain't no thing to I might pee myself, how nervous do you get before you go on stage?
Oh my gosh. I describe this feeling as sparkling. Like my skin literally, like I just have goosebumps all over. My stomach is in knots. And I always tell myself, I'm not nervous. I'm just excited. But I get filled with so much adrenaline. And the day of the show, I'm chill. But it is that moment when my mic pack's on, I'm standing there with the mic in my hand about to take the stage that I'm like, oh, here we go. And it's crazy because that moment that I open my mouth and sing the first few lyrics of the song, I'm just back to calm. Like that's where I'm supposed to be.
That's really cool. I've seen some artists, well-established artists forget their own lyrics on stage, songs that they've been singing for years. I don't know that that's necessarily nerves. It's probably distraction or something else, but
I've had that happen, and it's because I'm lost in the story of the song. Like sometimes if I'm singing something and remembering why I wrote it and kind of just get lost in that emotion or that memory. But we're human. I've seen countless artists forget the lyrics.
Yeah.
So
no big deal. Most of the time, the fans are going to pick it up for you anyway.
That's true. That's awesome that happens.
You've had so many firsts in 2024, 2025. You've already had a few firsts in 2026. Are there any more planned firsts coming up this year?
Oh gosh, no more planned firsts. It's hard not to have expectations. Of course I have a vision board and goals that I want to achieve, but I try not to put too much of an actual expectation on those. That way when the opportunity comes, I can meet it where I am and just be present with that opportunity.
What's on the vision board?
So I would love to land more opening spots and try and, reach other artists' audiences. And I'm really trying to get on some festivals. So I applied for CMA Fest, Americana Fest. Just to continue to find those new performing opportunities and meet new fans and friends.
Have you been down here for CMA Fest?
I have not actually. That's never worked out for me, but I'd love to still come this year if I don't get to perform.
Pro tip, comfortable shoes. That's all I'm going to say. No
cowboy boots, huh?
I wouldn't. Ugh, with the heat and the sweat and the walking. No.
Well, it's the same week as the Arkansas Country Music Awards, so there's always been kind of a little conflict there. But that first week in June.
That seems unfair. They should move those awards.
Well, it's on a Monday, and right now I guess that's the best night of the week for artists. So
okay. Well, we'll work it out. We'll make it work.
Yeah, I'll make it there someday.
Yeah. Well, I always like to wrap up with a little flash round of fun questions.
Ooh, I love that.
Would you rather write with Dolly or Loretta?
Loretta.
What's the best career advice you've gotten so far?
Be yourself.
Who's on the dream collaboration bucket list besides who we've already talked about?
Chris Stapleton.
Oh, girl. Aim big. I like it. Yeah. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Any Man of Mine.
Okay. All right. Abbey Pierce, thank you so much for being on Girl Country.
Thank you, Jess. It's been awesome. It's been really fun.
Y'all go listen to Abby's album, Don't Call Me Darlin. And in fact, a couple of the songs from the album are on the Girl Crush Country Spotify playlist. So save that so you can hear new music as soon as it comes out. Please hit that subscribe button here and then go to girlcrushcountry.com to get subscribed to the newsletter so you can get an early heads up when these interviews come out.